You think everybody know the story? You're just assuming, huh?
We're about to get to it right now.
Okay.
That's part
All
of the rumors.
right. Well, Kanye caused quite a stir. He was trending on social media along with the slogan "White Lives Matter." And that is because of his Yeezy Season 9 collection in Paris. He had a black shirt with the slogan "White Lives Matter," and the front of the shirt was the Pope's face. And so several models were also wearing various versions of that design. Candace Owens was there also wearing the shirt as well. And Kanye West and Kim's daughter North participated in the show. She wasn't wearing the shirt, though. It didn't seem that she was wearing the shirt. So Vogue interviewed Kanye ahead of the surprise show. And he said, specifically in this fashion context, I see myself more as a George Lucas than a fashion designer. There's just people from the same planet. And sometimes in high school, it feels like we don't fit in. And in a situation like this, we have the opportunity to come together to express who we are. So, a lot of people had things to say about these White Lives Matter shirts and the statement that he was potentially trying to make. I saw that some people said they're not messing with him anymore. I saw Boosie Badass said, after all we've been through as a race, you put this disrespectful ish on you, gives no Fs about how blacks have died and suffered to the hands of the white man. And you say Bush don't like black people. Really?
So his daughter wasn't wearing it, though.
Yeah, from what we saw.
It amazes me that y'all still give Kanye exactly what he wants, and that's attention. Now everybody talking about him and his fashion show. He knows exactly what he's doing, and people fall for it every time. And I've said this a million times, and every time I say it, folks call me a hater. But the reality is, there's not too many people in the world who openly seek white validation like Kanye West. And whenever he's going through something, whenever it's beef with a corporation, beef with his ex-wife, he becomes so pro-black. But when he's up and things are fine, it's slavery was a choice. Black people focus on race too much. And when he's in these circles like he was in Paris at that fashion show, it's White Lives Matter. Kanye West loves white validation. He longs for it. And it amazes me that folks let what they already know make them mad.
He also posted in his story, everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome.
Regardless of how you feel about the organization, the statement Black Lives Matter is essential to living in this country, because we have to constantly remind America that black lives indeed do matter, because they show us at every waking moment that they don't. That's what, forget the organization. What about this statement? Does your Black Lives Matter, Mr. West?
Are you still on the director of his security team for presidential race?
I never was that. But once again, and I'll say this till I'm dark blue in the face, okay? Nobody openly seeks white validation like Kanye
That's
West.
your guy!
And I've told him this directly.
All right. Now, Kim.
Hey, 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 in the zone. It is your girl Sean back, opening up about Senior Kanye West. Shout out to the Breakfast Club and Charlamagne the God, who read him for Absolute and Total Phil.
Oh yeah.
And here with Gina B. Hey, girl.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I'm
Good.
excited about digging into Senior West.
I'm so excited.
Not
I'm
just
so sick of looking at him.
and not just Mr. Senior West. We're gonna just look at the whole idea. And shout out to Kingdom, our engineer, and Kanye West, because I think most of us have seen
Yeah, I'm sure he's
the
listening.
clip
Hey, yeah.
where he said, or not the clip, but the GIF, or I'm old, so I don't know exactly what it's called, where he said, I'm not sure I read it, I should have been prepared. Sorry, in the zone. I should be far more prepared than I am. But he said, clear my throat. Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome. Shout out to Kanye West. But before we actually dig into Mr. West, his clothes, and the fuckery that is in the zone in general, I want to welcome our very special alum who hasn't been on. I can't remember the last time you were on, Rob. But Rob made me promise that the next time he was coming his ass on in the zone, it had to be something serious. No more relationship, no more girl shit, no more boy shit. We in here for some real life conversation. Mr. Rob Rob Weaver. What up, fam?
What's happening? I'm trying to get centered here. I don't know.
Hey,
You're trying to get
reversed.
centered.
you're sitting
Yeah, okay. There we go. What's happening?
Hey, he sounds really low.
He
Can
sounds
we work
low.
on
Can we
his
work on the
sound?
volume?
Is it me?
Okay, y'all.
It's not on your end, Rob. It's
Tell
on
us.
ours.
Tell us if you can hear. Tell us if you can hear Rob. Let us have a
If everybody in the comments can hear him, then we're gonna keep it rolling, and we're just gonna listen really intently for
Yeah.
Rob, just to make sure that we totally
We
understand.
catch every single word. Now I guess I'm off camera.
You see me try to
That's
get.
okay.
I don't-
I
know
just
we
showed
are.
how old I was. You see me try to get closer to the phone, like that's gonna help.
It's
something?
not on your end. It's on our end.
What does
Okay.
Chris Levy say? Can you hear?
Rob sounds
Okay,
fine, so
Rob
it's on
sounds-
our
Okay,
end.
so it's on our end.
So we'll
We
work.
can't hear a damn
We'll work
thing.
on the sound.
Cool.
So, Rob, Gina. I know we're here to talk about. Whoa.
Okay, now we hear everything way too much.
Right now you heard God.
Nelly.
I'm like, ooh, what was that?
Before we get into
Hang
Senior Kanye West, Rob, Gina,
Yes.
please tell me in the last 3 days you have seen the outfits that Mrs. Candace
Candace?
Owens, or Candace Owens, I go with that, and Mr. West wore at Kanye's surprise fashion show.
I
Please
can't
tell
do
me you
that.
both saw
Oh yeah, I saw.
these ensembles.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I saw.
You talking about the coon fits?
The
Okay, that's not working.
the coon fits.
It was
Yeah.
a coon festival,
It was quite.
and all they needed was Clarence Thomas.
So I guess we're gonna jump it right into that first question. Rob, your initial thoughts of these ensembles that read White Lives Matter on the back and have a picture of the current Pope on the front.
Right, coon couture, if you will.
I think Charlemagne says it best. The dude is performative for white folks, validation all the time. He, in my opinion, short of his early start, he kind of has siphoned off the culture for profit, and done some things that are just totally devastating to how we all trying to move in one direction for us as a community. Like, this isn't the first time the presidential run was a crock of shit and embarrassment, right? The Trump thing was a crock of. I mean, like, the dude has a profound relationship with someone who has demonstrated the utmost disdain for pretty much all human beings. Trump don't have no kind of filter when it comes to he don't care if you his mama or his worst enemy. Y'all are the same when it comes to where he has to go in life. And when you're willing to align yourself with people like that, it says so much about your character. So it's no longer surprising to see him do these kind of things. It's just really, really disappointing, right? At this point, it's like nobody has no control over him. We love this brother like we love the drunk uncle at the family reunion. Like, we just want you to go in the corner and be quiet, though.
And maybe shave.
That's
You
it.
know what? I said this in our podcast a minute ago. How you align is how you're defined, right? And so, he chooses to align himself in ways and then he doesn't really want to be defined that way. And it's like, I'm personally, I wish we would stop giving him airtime.
So I got two questions coming off of what Rob said. The first, and this is for both of you guys, now chime in. Who exactly, because you said he was an embarrassment, who exactly is he an embarrassment of? Are we running into being an embarrassment for the Black community, or is he just an embarrassment to himself and his family? Who is he an embarrassment for? Who is he embarrassing outside of himself?
I don't know the dude who gets yanked off the stage at Apollo night, right? I don't know him, but I'm embarrassed for him because he's a brother that probably sucks, right? And this shouldn't be what you're doing. And I'm embarrassed in that same way for Kanye. It ain't necessarily like it's affecting my everyday. It's just you're giving fuel to some of the most abhorrent people. Trump got like federal charges for how he treated Black people in the way he, in his leasing policies, in his landlording. He literally has lost federal cases. And you want to align yourself with people who have demonstrably told you that that they don't care about your community. So is it disappointing and embarrassing to the community? It is. I mean, he's still a brother. He still added some amazing art to our culture. But that's all he is an artist, right? He's just an artist. He has no profound thought. He ain't even his mama when it comes to the brain and the knowledge, to be honest with you. Because she was brilliant. She just made an artist. And this dude is nothing but an artist, and he needs to stay in that lane, because what he's doing to negate all the work we are doing collectively is just bullshit.
What do you think, Gina?
I don't disagree with anything that Rob just said. I feel like, well, the only thing is, I will say that, he can be embarrassing to us as Black people, because non-Black people often think that we're monolithic. And, we don't get, like, rich white people aren't embarrassed by, trailer park white people, because they don't identify with them. But yet, anytime a Black person does something, it's like it's all of a sudden on our entire community, right? Like, so people don't understand that we have separate viewpoints, and so that's why it's kind of like you're showing out in front of company on this. It's like, would you stop? Like, it's kind of like just like the Will Smith Chris Rock thing. It was like, just stop. Like, you're showing out in front of company. Like, don't, because it's already bad enough that people think that Black people are this way or Black people are that way, and it's just like, no, I don't claim any of that. I don't claim it.
But it's so much worse than the Will Smith thing, because that was a personal thing done in a public audience. What this dude is doing is totally like, Will Smith wasn't going against the movement; he was going against Chris Rock, right? This dude is going against the movement when he does things like White Lives Matter. He's going against the movement. Chris Rock Will was going after one dude.
All right, so whoever that user is, let's kind of back up a bit. I don't disagree with the first half of that statement. He did manifest his life, which there's something really profound and interesting about the fact that he was able to speak his basic life into existence. Now, where I start to diverge from this comment is, I don't get the sense that he's separated from his kids. He's not. He has a picture with his kids, and granted, it's a picture, and anything could be happening in the background, right? But if I'm just taking what I see for face value, he is with his kids often. A lot.
I ain't got no criticism about him and his fatherhood. It looks like he's doing a different. I think if he would rein in his antics, because eventually them kids gonna have to deal with those antics. You're not gonna be able to protect them from the world.
Why do you think they haven't already had to deal with those antics? You think he doesn't do that with them now? They're all of age where they, especially North, right? North and what's the one underneath her? Saint. They're old enough. North is 10-ish and Saint is 7-ish.
Which is already kind of a lot. But yeah,
they are fully aware, I would imagine, who their daddy is at this point.
Yeah, I think there's
with all.
But are they
facing
the public? Are they in situations where they're going to have to deal with other ignorant ass 10-year-olds? You know how mean kids are.
Absolutely.
Right.
Which makes
so
me
when
feel
they
for North.
They were.
Daddy's off the chain.
And you doing stuff that you are the talk of the town. In that sense, like, I wouldn't want my kids to have to deal with that. So, but I don't have no issue with him as a father. I just wish he would rein that dumb stuff in.
I don't have an issue with him as a dad. I think it's very clear he wants to be a dad, and it's very clear to me he wants to be an active dad. Where I start to ask questions is he often talks about that Kim doesn't want him around his children. They keep him separated. When
I don't really think that's
I can see, that's not accurate. That's all my only question for him. Like, maybe he wants them 5 days a week instead of 2. I don't know, but it doesn't
Chloe just got into it. I just read this because I knew we were doing this show. So he and Chloe just got into it on social media, and she was just like, "Well, stop with the narrative that you don't know where your kids are. You see know where your kids are all the time." And I think what he's just trying to do is harass the whole family.
And he will waffle back and forth on his position with Kim. Like, sometimes he's like, she's a good mom, and then she's the devil, and then Chris Jong-un. Like he waffles back and
Don't
forth.
that sound
on
like a hurt
all
dude?
the time.
And the thing you can say about them, now you can say what you want about the Kardashians, whatever. People have different opinions about them. But I've never seen her say anything negative about him as a father. Like, she has never. She might say, we can't stay married because he's like fucking crazy. I mean, she didn't even say that. I would have said. Like, I don't know how long. I don't know how she was with him through 4 kids. But, you know, she's never said anything that is, you know, kind of been negative about him as a dad.
She genuinely loves the dude. Like that. That is like she
It says a
doesn't
lot.
bother her children, right? She genuinely loves that dude, and we only get a glimpse of Kanye's antics, right?
Yeah.
A glimpse, the stuff that gets in front of TMZ, or the stuff that he just never refuses to. I'm sure there's 27 people out there who told him that shirt was dumb as fuck. Like there was plenty of people. And we only have to deal with the stuff that he actually decides to do that gets mega audience. Kim that got to deal with that dude on every level about Pampers. Can you imagine with dealing with Kanye about diapers, or Kanye about simple stuff that you should be able to co-parent with? Could you imagine dealing with Kanye?
I would not want to be bothered with that.
Yeah, you got to deal with Kanye. Right?
I mean,
You're like,
it sounds
Kanye,
badass
no,
to have-
we're
I mean,
going
4
to
children's a
put
lot.
the shoe on the left foot and the other shoe on the right foot. He's like, no, I think we need to switch those up, and then we're going to put them on. Like, no, bro, we're not fighting about everything. He just seems like he's the kind of dude that is creating a whole lot of drama as his wife goes around and lives her life and gets banged out by everybody.
Why we gotta
Like
make her a hoe?
yeah.
Why?
Right.
This is not about Kim being a hoe.
I'm not sure.
Can we
No,
focus
that, but like, have we talked
on Kanye?
What if we're focusing on
We always
Kanye?
gotta slip in her being a hoe some kind of
But
way.
the thing is,
How?
she had a hoe. She had a boyfriend.
I'm a
Kanye's
firm
been with
believer
50
in
million
co-healing.
white women who look just like his ex-wife.
And
And
yet
like,
nothing.
we have lost count of the women that Kanye's
Well,
been with
we
who look just like his ex-wife.
Are we counting though? Because they were really
Well, they
not
like
fucking factors.
if somebody wants to discuss Kim being a hoe, then let's let's
Listen,
opportunity.
Kanye is whack anyway, because Kanye like the Kardashians got good money,
They do.
right?
Oh, they have
They
long
got
money.
good money, right?
Long
But there's a
money.
whole lot finer sisters out there who got better money. And
Better
Like-
money than the Kardashians?
yes,
Who's that?
like,
Who we talking about? Oprah? Who we talking
Who
about?
are we referring to?
I would definitely shoot my shot at Oprah before I did Kim.
I hear men say that all the time, that they
Then
will
what?
shoot their shot at Oprah. Y'all the biggest
Have at
gold
it.
diggers. I promise me be
And I feel
with
like-
gold
and I
digger
feel like,
tendency all the
They're
time.
gonna get yeah.
Oprah might have that work. Oprah might have that work.
Y'all some liars. Y'all want that money. Y'all don't give a fuck about Oprah.
Yeah,
Not like
that's
a
right.
little fuck.
You
No
know,
one's looking at
we learned
Oprah
from
thinking,
the best.
"Damn, I got to get me some of that."
Y'all not like
Come
Oprah
on.
Holly Berry. Oprah Holly Berry.
No one's weighing Oprah over.
Shit. I can't take y'all.
But you know, everybody wants to talk that shit. So you know, the other thing, I'll totally derail the conversation for just 2 seconds. But people were like all shitty when Serena Williams married the Greek
white-
dude, the white guy. I was like, were you lined up for Serena? But before that, everyone was like, Serena's so masculine, and she this and she's
I
that.
don't know. I know a lot of black men who were into Serena.
Really?
She
I don't
got
know
big
that
ass.
many,
See?
but I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot of black men.
She
that
got
were
a
just like,
fat ass. That's
yeah,
why.
but they think that. I mean, I've heard so many black men say she's masculine.
I can get you an affidavit from about 57 right now tonight in PDF form with one text message of brothers who are absolutely willing to leave their wives for Serena. Hell with everybody else. That's a beautiful,
Okay.
built up black woman.
Okay, but is the movement going to reach out to him now that he's done with Adidas and he wants to partner with black people?
Very unlikely, since he made his last statement.
His
And
shoes gonna
thank
sell.
you for the
They've been selling to the
segue.
same folks, the white folks. His shoes gonna sell to white folks.
His shoes are selling to us. We are the consumers of that shit. The Adidas, those Nikes,
Oh, we're all about
Yeezys.
Y'all
Yeah.
You don't think so?
buying, like, you think we paying $1,500 for a pair of Yeezys? Where are we getting it from? Not
Is that
you.
what they pay cost?
Shit.
Because I don't know.
Stimulus checks? Like,
Not
a lot
you.
of people were, please, a lot of people were spending their last dollar on some
I'm fucking
Yeezys.
No,
Yes, they
white
were.
Suburbans
I
make
know they
those
cost
money.
something.
Just rap is
Well,
always
suburban white boys will, but don't you think inner city black kids are trying to do it too?
they do.
They're
but
stealing them
we
off
also
of
down
people.
with the knockoff. You know how it is. You ride out there on 87, like we okay with it. Like it's it's just it has been historically that way, that the suburban community props up the financial end of the hip hop culture. I mean, Jay-Z said it. Old white man is running this rap shit. Jewish dudes is running this rap shit. Like, those are the kids who are buying this stuff because they have the disposable income to do it.
Well, we are the trendsetters, black people. Like, we set the trends, and then suburban white kids follow.
But they
But
they
got
make
the money
it. We set the trends. They apply capitalism to it.
They got the money to buy the trend.
Yeah, they do. They have the money.
But that is a Facebook user, a fantastic segue to the actual point of this podcast, right? Of course, we had to talk about Kanye because, I mean, could you not?
That's really the
And shout out to Kingdom because he was actually the catalyst for our engineer Kingdom for this having an I am conversation. He said that BLM was a scam, which my question was,
Is it?
how so?
How so?
So I know Kingdom's gonna not talk into the mic and talk into the ethos, and we'll have to repeat whatever he says. But Kingdom, we'll start with you. How and why do you think, and hopefully you're not gonna say what you said before this damn podcast, how is it a scam, Senor?
All right, technically, when I talk, I think they can hear me.
Can you guys hear Kingdom?
Let us know.
Yep.
You can.
Rob,
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when BLM was created, the Black Lives Matters hashtag is what people are more concentrated on, more so than the actual organization. The hashtag was a brilliant marketing campaign, and that's all it was. And if you said anything about the campaign, it automatically puts you in a bad light in America. And that's what they went off of. And so when the organization first started, the organization was about removing black leadership from power positions in major organizations that cater to black people. So the whole campaign when they first started was, we're going to shut down Jesse Jackson. We're going to shut down Operation Push. We're shutting down the NAACP. All these organizations that had black patriotic leadership was their main focus. The Black Lives Matter was in a group of hashtags of a pocket of maybe 20 different hashtags that they had all started. When Trayvon got killed, that's when they started using it for the Black Lives Matter was more towards the children of theirs, not the black men, not all the black people that was getting killed, none of that. So that's where they started at. And everybody just followed suit because it was such a great marketing campaign.
So go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So your real beef with, and I can't confirm any of this. This is not how I understand BLM. So, and Rob's smarter than me, so I'm gonna have him chime into this. So the real beef, I'm a supporter of the organization. Correct. I'm not a supporter of the organization. Too much fraud investigation for me. Okay, we got that. And we're gonna dig into that, right? Because that is one of my questions: the viability of the organization versus the actual movement, right? So, Kingdom, just so I'm clear, your issue with BLM is that it was a marketing strategy to create a coup for leadership in NAACP and Rainbow Push. Is that what I'm understanding? Did I get that right?
What we're missing is that Jeff Bezos backed the organization so that they could move the lever against the organizations that was fighting against them, which was all, at the moment, black patriotic organizations ran by black men.
So okay.
That was not catering to the LGBT community.
I was wondering when this was going to come.
That's their.
I was like 10, 9.
Okay, this is actually in their. This was in their original mission statement.
Okay.
When they first came out, a lot of people just went on like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. But me being a 5%er that I am, I did the research first. So before they could change the research, Yeah, I'm.
Oh God!
I'm,
I cannot do hotepery.
I'm not hotepish.
Kingdom, I
Okay, so
like
let's not
you.
hotep
Please
it,
no
okay.
hotel.
I'm not hotepish,
Ain't no
but I
hotep.
learned how to do research from dealing with those organizations.
Okay.
And so when it first came out, I didn't just go out and scream Black Lives Matter. I looked them up. I went right to their website, and their website said, we are organizations of the alphabets that our mission is to remove patriotic men, black men from power positions in these organizations that don't cater to us.
And those were the wording. Or
I'm
was
not
that
sure
your,
that-
your
I'm-
understanding of it?
No,
I'm not sure that Warren's wearing a White Lives Matter shirt though.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm not sure that like the even if you don't care for the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm not sure that means that we go out and we put on a White Lives Matter.
Like Jeff Bezos?
No, like Kanye West and Kim.
Because it's not even the
Like, I'm not
it
sure
is
that
not
we
even
do
the antithesis of Black Lives Matter. It's not even the opposite of it. Like, because Black Lives Matter is about a response to the treatment of us in this community, in this world.
Right.
His White Lives Matter shirt ain't
that's the
about
marketing campaign.
treatment of white people in this world. It's about negating the message of Black Lives Matter. That's all it is. It isn't saying white. It isn't about white. It isn't saying white people need to be treated better. We need to stop killing white people. We need to provide equal access to resources to white people. That ain't what it's saying. It's just totally a pushback against Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, but that's not what Kingdom is saying. And I think Kingdom is saying something. First of all, let me be super clear. I don't agree with anything Kingdom is saying, but it's still an interesting point, right? That the original purpose, and I don't know if Kingdom came through clearly, so I'm going to kind of restate what he said. That the original purpose of Black Lives Matter, before Trayvon Martin, before, they shifted to being about keeping law enforcement from killing Black men. The original goal of Black Lives Matter was to oust Black male leadership within the community, which I would argue Jesse Jackson is not. But that's not the point of the matter, right? Whether he is or isn't. But my question is, Rob, I struggle with the idea that there was an entire organization solely targeted for making sure that Black men aren't leaders. Now, I don't know how much you know about this. Maybe you can give me some insight on it, or maybe you have an opinion on it.
That's new to
or
me.
Maybe we all
To be
just don't
honest
have
with you.
enough education to respond to that.
That's new to me. I need some sources to read. I don't have those things. I don't understand. I've never heard that message with respect to to the Black community with that specific purpose. I do understand their affiliation with LBGT Alphabet Gang, and that is actually the truth. I know they have strong, even a lot of the leadership of that community as well. So, but that ain't new to the movement, right? That ain't new to the movement in a way. Some gay people have always been part of the movement. So I don't know if is the issue that gay people are part of the movement. Is the issue that I don't know anything about they're ousting Black people. You gotta send me some links.
So here's where I land on commentary like that. So I'm gonna say, for argument's sake, that was the goal, right? I don't necessarily hate that position, right? Because I would also take the position that what the fuck has Jesse Jackson done in the last 30 years to progress Black agendas, period? I would say nothing. So, and if he has done something, he's done it so underground that nobody has it has no insight onto whatever it is. I struggle a lot with the previous leadership. And I've said this about Black Greeks as well, or Black Greek-led organizations. Let me be appropriate in my language. That
Watch yourself.
I just want look. I got yelled at because I said Greek, and somebody was in my DM saying that's offensive. You need to say Greek-led organization. So I didn't mean that to be offensive. I'm just saying I got yelled at.
No, get out of here.
I promise you, I will show you the DM.
Yeah, they still was whack. You can show it, print it out. That was whack.
Yeah, I think people need to
I just don't want to get yelled at.
Okay.
But my point overall is we get really hung up on shit that doesn't fucking matter. or people who aren't really doing anything. Like
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson, I don't see him marching. I don't see him going to the White House
Well,
outside of
I
going to a
also
party.
don't. I think it's
I don't
fair
really
to be
see them
Jesse-
doing a
fair to
whole lot of
Jesse.
anything.
He doesn't need to be marching at this point. Some of the things that he's done. I mean, the Push Coalition is an active community organization that benefits us, right? That's real. Well, one of the other things he's done is got the hell out the way.
Well, listen, my father was an early member of Operation. He was part of Operation Breadbasket. My father ran he managed the Push band like for years. My father was with the Push organization when they did Summer of Soul, that music festival. So, I mean, I've been around him my whole life. I think that it's not a situation where I don't think he's done anything. I think the man is just, he's just older and his health is
And that's fair.
So he's not able. I think he's paved the way for a lot of people. I also think that we should not. I think Black Lives Matter, which, by the way, isn't trademarked by anybody at this point. So to be clear, like everyone wants to talk about the movement, no one has trademarked that, right?
I'm sure a white person has
So
this by now.
at this point, no. But as of I did some research before we did this.
Mhm.
No one's trademarked
It's still
that.
not trademarked.
So no, still not. So you have a shot if anybody is. But my point being is that the message transcends
Yes.
what's behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that irrespective of why it was erected, like maybe it was, we got all these theories about why and Bezos and blah, blah, blah. The reality is that the message is trying to get across that Black lives do matter because apparently, and like to Charlamagne the God's point, we have to continue to remind people that Black lives matter because I think people seem to forget, right? And it's like, and people say, well, what about, I've had this argument several times with some people that I went to, that I've went to school with, that I've worked with, whatever, who have said, well, what about, white lives matter? Don't all lives matter? And I'm like, okay, here's what it's like. It's like, you've got, 2 apartment buildings, right? And yeah, all buildings matter, but one's on fire. So we need to focus our energy in putting fire out of the one building that's in trouble, that is distressed, right? And so if you talk about it that way, then it makes perfect sense. So we can talk about all of the foundational issues of Black Lives Matter all day if you want to, but the bottom line is that the message is still what it is. And I think that the message has transcended it by now.
She's absolutely
back in
right.
2013.
Do you disagree with? I mean, does Kingdom disagree with the idea that Black Lives Matter?
Kingdom.
I don't disagree with it. I thought it was a brilliant marketing campaign.
Yeah, but to
Okay,
say, but wait.
But now you're
But
denigrating.
right, to say it's
Why
a
am I
brilliant
denigrating?
marketing.
I'm not denigrating black people. I'm denigrating the damn logo.
Yeah, but that's not
Right, but that's
Rob's
not-
question. Rob's
that's not the
question is, do you agree with the overall sentiment? And to say things like it's a brilliant marketing campaign is marginalizing the question at hand.
It is.
Is the movement something you agree with? The fact that people are upset that black men and black people are dying at the hands of law enforcement and other groups of white folks, do you align
On a
with
regular
that
basis.
ideology? Whoa, that is a large pause.
Because
That is a
Regular
long
pause,
pause.
if you will.
I'm the same person that says hip hop didn't start in New York, though. So I mean, like
I'm
the
not following
source,
trend.
You're gonna have to
The
have
source.
that.
the source is still important. Like you're changing, you've added something to
I think you're
their,
not talking to the mic.
you've added something to their definition that wasn't originally part of the
But
definition.
can't people
But the
shift
message has
the
transcended
But-
the original definition. If
that's
if
the-
it is what you say it is.
That's what I can't agree with that.
Do
But
you think
companies
Snick
all
is
the time
same as Snick
change
used to be?
what the overall objective of the company is. Amazon didn't start off being this major conglomerate.
They
It
were
just sold
booksellers.
books.
Yeah.
That was their mission statement.
They're
They
like,
sold
you want a
books.
novel? We got one.
Now
You're
they're
talking about
moving into.
Amazon.
My point
Okay,
is,
You're equating Amazon with Black lives.
no.
let me give you
That's not what I said at
That's
all.
not what we're doing.
Let me give you another
Wait,
example.
Rob, I'm
Wait.
sorry, we just can't hear you very well. So
Rob,
yeah.
say that again.
How about, do you think the NAACP
I was like,
is the same as it was 60 years ago?
That's an interesting question.
Definitely not.
no.
Okay.
Well, because our
So
music transcends.
because one, black people's issues have transformed, the organization has transformed based on what it started out as and what it's needed to be today, right? So, and I say that to say, in order to make the point that BLM as it started in whatever way, wherever it started, it originated. What it is going to is something that's and I'm talking about BLM separate from the organization. I'm not talking about the organization. We can talk about that in a little bit, but I'm talking about BLM as the movement. Like it has moved into a stronger position, even something that's even more of greater magnitude. It is not supposed to be the same thing as it was on day one. No. And if you're saying that it was rooted in bad things for the Black community, then say that. But I haven't heard you make that argument that.
See, I'm not anti alphabets either. Like,
can we not?
Okay.
I mean, like,
okay,
you say all that. I don't say all that.
Okay. Well,
huh?
I don't know where we have to be rude to people.
I'm not being rude. I just don't remember the order of each one of the letters all the time, so I just say alphabets.
Okay.
You can't be the arbiter of that. Like if your name is Tchaikovsky, if you want somebody to remember your daughter's name, your organization's name, or the fact that your name is Kingdom, sir,
yeah,
you would probably it's only respectful to give it back.
Yes, that's kind of the point.
But and here's the other thing too. If BLM has been something that is, if it's a message that is kind of grown wings and white people have latched onto it as a statement of being allies with Black people, right? And realistically, it's kind of where we want it, because if we're being honest, racism is white people's problem. It's a problem that they created, and we're just victimized by it. So it's going to take white people to help us get rid of it. Because I can't tell you not to discriminate against me. The people who are the problem have to band together and say, this is not some shit we need to be doing, right? So I'm all for it. If white people want to have Black Lives Matter in their window, BLM, if they want to latch onto it without any kind of idea as to how it originated, but just like standing on the message of Black Lives Matter and realizing that that's a fact, then I'm good.
So are you saying that we need to keep it going, or the vibe, or it's necessary to keep reminding not black folks,
everybody,
white folks, that racism is here and you need to do something about it?
Yeah. I mean, racism is their problem. It really
is. Where did Rob go?
Rob hit a button. He go. No, but I mean, real talk. Like it's just it's I don't really I'm not really into kind of deconstructing and sort of denigrating it. I'm interested in where can it take us that's different from where we've been and where we are. Oh, Jameen.
Oh, God.
Have you been to Subway, Jameen? I haven't been there all week.
He goes with Robin's like, what the hell are you all talking
He's
about?
Like, oh, see, that was last week.
I think it's going to keep following you.
I haven't been back there. I'm afraid to go now. Anyway. So
this is interesting to me though, and it's interesting to me from because Kingdom's perspective is a shared one. It's not something
and it's valid.
It's not
a valid perspective,
unique to him, right? My question is, none of the whole concept though is it started in a place I didn't want it to start, which means it is always going to be that thing and nothing more. I can't get behind. That's tough for me to get behind the idea that because we are not, like, human beings aren't built like that. Human beings are built like in a way that you start off being what you need to be for the rest of your existence. And that's kind of like the litmus test that Kingdom is holding against BLM is, because y'all started off in this way, I can't fuck with y'all.
Yeah, and there's lots of things that we as human beings, or Black people more specifically, use that started off as torture for us. Gynecology, for instance, that all they did was torture Black women in the effort to understand the woman's body.
Right.
Nobody is rejecting going to the gynecologist because thousands of Black women died and were tortured in the process of
Black
learning
coochie
it.
matters.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with using
the American Red Cross. Nobody
Yeah.
stopped giving to the Salvation Army. Nobody stopped going to church. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, church.
Oh, church.
Let's
Don't
not
you-
start
don't
talking
do that
about church. People getting tortured up in church right now. If you go to the wrong church right this second, someone's getting it in that anyway.
Rob shook the table with church. Now you know how black people feel about their white Jesus.
hey, never would have made it.
Listen.
So I'm just
church
saying, be
today.
uniform in your critic. You be uniform. Now, I think you need to actually talk about the other issue, which is the money, right? The money. Nobody. That's the issue that a lot of people. When we don't have transparency, and you're making decisions like buying a $6 million house in California. Now, let me tell you this, right? A $6 million house in Southern California ain't a whole lot of house.
Thank you.
It ain't a whole
I mean,
lot.
realistically, it's about a 5,000 square foot house
Yeah, it's not
in a
whole
good
lot.
neighborhood.
So
Like maybe Santa Monica, the Palisades, something.
And so just the number though scares people, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you literally can sell your 2-bedroom condo in California for $1.2 million.
You sure can.
So that is just another, like Kingdom said, a marketing thing. Like it's a good headline that scares the hell out of people. I think they gave 25 million out in donations, and then they have 42 million or something like that in the coffers, right? For which they haven't built a structure. And I think there's a dude in there who might have siphoned off $10 million because, human beings ain't shit.
Right.
That's really what it
Fair.
comes down
Real
to,
talk.
right?
Right.
In every organization, from if I'm reading I'm listening to a podcast about civil rights movements. Some of the most iconic images that was the from one guy. That guy was linked to the FBI and giving the FBI information. Right? There's bad players in every situation. Right, but it doesn't. You're not teaching your kids. You're not refusing to teach your kids civil rights movement history because that dude did some things that at the time you probably thought was the best things possible. And with respect to marketing, to put that thing, Black Lives Matter was a good marketing tactic. You know what else was? Emmett Till's photograph and jet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was an exceptional marketing campaign.
Yes.
Because
And
marketing,
so was Rosa Parks.
seeing that the Pettis Bridge on national TV news because you got cameras out there. That was an exceptional marketing campaign. And when we start doing marketing in a way that it started spreading our cause around the country, the nation started waking up to our plight. So this whole idea that marketing something is a bad thing, it's not. It's just how are you going to use that tool in order to get to your end goals? And it's always been a part of progressing Black rights.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to take things and market them the way that you need to market them in order to get where you need to be.
And since when has marketing been a bad thing? That's why we buy Charmin and Downy and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh, marketing is a very bad thing.
Because-
Let me tell you, I'm a marketer. Like, I went to school for this shit. It's bad the stuff they make you do in terms of packaging and understanding how red affects your mind, and so they do things in a certain way. It's a very bad industry. You be fucking with, you make you want some goddamn hot dogs that you ain't never ever thought about before. But it's required in order to have a mass message. That just is what it is. Anything you try to do on a large scale is going to have marketing involved.
Yeah, you should see what they have to do to those McDonald's burgers.
Oh God!
Have you ever seen what they have to do to those McDonald's burgers to make them look palatable on a commercial? They basically shellac them and
and nobody's striking outside of McDonald's right now.
No, they're fine.
Except for them goddamn ice cream machines that don't ever work.
So one of the things I wanted to dig into, and I think Rob, you kind of pointed at it a little bit when you were talking earlier, is really the viability of both the organization and the actual movement, the necessity of either. And I kind of want to dig in, like, do we think, and I'll start with Gina, do you think, and I think you kind of hinted at this, so you're going to repeat yourself, do you think either of them are needed at this point, the organization and the actual hashtag movement?
Yes, because this problem hasn't gone away. Like, until until people do not need to be reminded that Black Lives Matter, and until we have, until we stop getting killed by police officers, until we stop. I mean, it still needs to be there. We are
Until
still
you
not,
stop building 290s through black communities,
right.
until you stop having limited ingress and egress access to our communities, so that other jobs can't put so factories won't put their businesses in our communities because they can't get their trucks off the goddamn highway. Yes, the Black Lives Matter movement is necessary and essential, and it attracts a whole different element of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
NAACP ain't that popular right now. SNCC gone. Bush Coalition membership probably down. Black Lives Matters is like it. So and it resonates exceptionally well. The reality is they're gonna be fine. They grew tremendously fast.
They did.
Tremendously fast, like exponentially fast. They grew fast. They didn't have the structure, the leadership, or the know-how to handle what they're doing. All they had was a whole bunch of fucking money, right? And a strong message. Now they got people in there who are going to be able to help them with that.
Go back to that top comment, and I kind of want and Kingdom. I'm actually going to circle back to you because I kind of want to get your response to this too. The second one from the bottom. I'm gonna read this one. Marketing is manipulation. Why would you have to manipulate someone to value your humanity? That's kind of my point. We aren't truly vested.
Ask them what kind of car they drive.
We're manipulated all day.
To Rob's earlier point, right, a lot of the civil rights movement were marketing ploys to A, guilt trip white folks into doing the right fucking thing, and B, to make what was going on with us national news. That is why marketing is important. White people are not just going to decide to treat black people well just because it's the right thing to do. We've seen time and time again that is never going to be the strategy to get them to do shit we need them to do.
And also, okay, so let's take the Highland Park shooting, right? We all heard about that. All right. Now, let's juxtapose that Highland Park shooting where, a gunman destroyed their idyllic holiday and their parade, and now we have a lot of human stories about the victims, and it's terrible. I'm not saying it's something, yes, it's a very terrible crisis. Juxtapose that with the 73 shootings or so that happened in the city of Chicago. Now, marketing was such that we focused very heavily on the Highland Park victims because it was a white neighborhood, and it's because a neighborhood that people thought they were buying their way out of problems in the city of Chicago and away from black people, essentially, right? But where were the human stories about the victims of the 73 shootings in the city? And so that's marketing, right? Marketing is we're choosing not to focus on giving a human story to an inner city person that was victimized because they shouldn't be in the city anyway. What do you expect from the black man? I mean, it's all this, subtext around it, right? But what we're going to do instead is focus on what are we going to do about Highland Park? And then people rallied behind it and decided to contribute, and now it's a question of what are we going to do about it? But nobody's focusing on what we're doing about it.
How many people died in that?
12, I think.
12. So listen, I got to push back a little bit because I think the violence I want to deal with is the 73. I would rather
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. The violence I want to live with is a 73?
The ones that I would rather have happening is the 73. The
You would rather have the 73 die in the city?
The number's larger, but it's not as sporadic. Like there's 73 people who had issues with each other killing each other.
You don't know that though. No, some of those people were not all. Those people, some of them were innocent bystanders.
What number do you think was?
I don't really know, but all I know is the 73 people were not. Maybe more than half. Who knows?
I'm almost certain that if we would look it up, we would find out the number of innocent victims in that, people who were not engaged in some interaction, people who were just standby, who happened to be going to the mall or going to a movie, is probably, let's say, 10, 12, 14, 15%, right? Everybody who died in the Highland Park shit was just like, I ain't got no beef with this guy. Like, I don't want to be in Walmart and get shot. Now, me and my neighbor about to fight each other every day, I expect him to try to shoot me, and I expect me to try to shoot him. I'm just saying, we can't compare those two types of violence.
Well, but what we can compare is the focus. So think about all of the kids that you hear about on a daily, all the teenagers here. It happened 2 blocks down from me, where a boy was walking home and got shot. Innocent 14-year-old, right? So where's the human story there? We don't really get the human stories.
We also don't control the media. So yeah, absolutely.
No, my point is that's the difference, right? So we focus, whether you focus on it or not, right? It's like that's the media versus what they choose to focus on, and that's driven by an engine. What engine is that driven by? Why do you choose not to give? He's just random black boy shot on the south side, right? As opposed to let's give the names of all the victims that happened to
but
right?
But you don't think the mass of it is unique?
Do I think? I'm sorry.
The mass of it, the 12, 13 people at a time.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't focus on Highland Park. What I'm saying though is that can we get some equal focus on our people?
Yeah.
Can we get
equal focus? No, not in America. No.
No, we won't get that. That's why I'm saying that until our lives matter to the point where people get invested, when some of our people get killed, whatever. What does Lee Farber say? I have to know this.
Oh, that's your Lee?
Oh, yes. A whole lot of children, yes. And yeah, a whole lot of children are getting shot by and killed by shooters.
All right, I get that, but whole lot don't give me a whole lot. Like, the reality is, I'm still one, and I may be wrong, but I'm assuming that if there was 10 people who got shot, 8 out of 10 of them probably had interaction.
Okay, but did those other 2 that were innocent bystanders, why don't we know? Like who? Because we would know, and a lot of people know the name, right? Because they're putting it in the comments, right? But why don't we have that same level of humanity with our people that get shot in the city? Why is that not there?
Probably because of them. I mean, we talked about marketing, right? I think somebody said earlier about we're not vested in the marketing.
No, and that person just said, whoever this, I hate that we can't see names here. This person here, I don't like calling them this person here. What quantifies innocence is an Instagram beef quality.
But that's exactly my point, though. That's an Instagram beef. There's 60 people dying from a beef. There's 70 people dying from a beef. There's not somebody going to buy a beefsteak at the fucking grocery store and getting killed, which is what's happening in Highland Park or even Baltimore, where it's very random and it's in a lot of volume. These people might have been going at each other for 6 weeks on Instagram before they had an interaction. Those beefs gonna be stupid people killing people. That's fine. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm talking about, I don't want to be walking in Tom Thumb. I don't even know y'all got Tom Thumb up there.
That must have been Jamal. Shontelle, I should have hit you on that one. Whoever that is, say your name. I imagine that was Jamal.
We can't see it.
If that was Jamal, I wanted you in here, but you in Tanzania.
What is Jameek saying below that?
Cinnamon Toast.
Oh, Tucson. Yes, I should have had you on here too. You're absolutely correct.
He's talking.
Well, we can barely hear him because of it. Okay.
The problem mentioned is that
every mass
easily able to be hijacked. That's a valid point. Thus, to avoid accountability, they say all lives matter too. Like the gentleman saying, proper, more specific messaging, marketing matters. I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree with that either.
What up to you? Absolutely correct. You should have been here. My bad. I got you next time. But no, I wanted to go back to Kingdom. So Kingdom, it's gonna be a very interesting response.
Just dope ass name, by the way.
You coming to the mic?
Yes,
the viability of both the movement and the organization. I'm pretty sure I know where you're gonna go with this, but I still want to know: do you think, in its current state, not its previous state, we know that it was trying to get rid of the black leadership and was pro LGBTQIA. I got all that. In its current states, do you think there is some viability in either the movement or the organization, and or both, and or neither?
I think that any movement would be hijacked movement now.
What do you mean by that? I need to talk to them. I don't know if everybody heard you, but he said
Yeah,
any
yeah.
movement would be hijacked now.
Like, I already thought it was hijacked, so I still believe it would be hijacked. So if nothing
By
changed-
like white people? By the media?
yes.
So I guess my question then should we just say fuck it and just
But give me an
what's the
example,
goal then? Like what do
Kingdom, of a
we do then?
movement or
If
a
we could not
message
have,
that
I'm sorry,
hasn't
Rob, go
been-
ahead. Go ahead, can you repeat that?
Give me an example, Kingdom, of a movement or a message that has not been hijacked.
Oh, interesting question.
That's a good question.
That has not been.
Hijacked.
I don't want to have a frame of reference for what your expectations are.
When I say, the problem that I really have, bro, is that I just believe that people got caught up in a hashtag movement. It's not like, it's like,
People donated $100 million. They
To
said,
Kingdom's point, that could still be people getting caught up in a hashtag.
but
I
they were
would not
willing to
argue
put their
with that.
money where their mouth is and where their hearts were. Like, it ain't easy to get $100 million.
It is when a whole bunch of organizations feel guilty about white supremacy. Because that $100 million didn't come from.
But most of their
Americans.
no.
Came from,
Most of
like,
their
the
dollars,
P-
most
P-
of their
P-
money was small dollar money.
It was no, for sure. Some of it did come from grassroots ways, but a
Most
lot
of
of
their
that
money
came
was small
from.
dollar donations.
I don't. But that was really for you, Kingdom. I kind of hopped in.
I'm just saying that the
I just want
fact
an
that
example. I just want a frame of reference.
He said,
for
"What
the type
hijack?
of
What movement has
message
not been
of
hijacked?"
marketing that you feel has not been hijacked?
truthfully, I believe that as a marketing student, I believe that every movement has been hijacked. Like everything has been created. Like I was always told that the best marketing campaigns create new laws, and new laws create more money for the government and the state. And so when the Black Lives Matter movement came out, it simply said that we're going to start sending money towards what? Preventing police brutality or causing chaos. And that's what the Black Lives Movement was. They was out there. Okay, if you remember truth.com, remember truth.com?
I don't.
Yes.
Truth.com was the organization that was going around doing these pop-ups that stop people from smoking cigarettes.
Robert Morris.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
just Robert
yeah, I
Morris
get that.
And they had the
Morris,
special
not Robert
clothes, and they had the jackets and the hats and all that beautiful stuff, and they were popping up in all different types of spots with these flash mobs.
Yeah, Lee knows about this. Lee chime in. Look at Lee.
They had a dramatic impact on legislation and reducing cigarette use amongst young people.
Exactly. And so when I saw that program and how they started with the flash mobs and all that, Black Lives Matter is just a continuation of that. It's
And
like,
again,
how much shock can we bring as a... Huh?
They saved lives. They
Ooh.
got legislation that allowed us to have better packaging. That you couldn't do certain kind of marketing towards cigarette products or tobacco products towards children. They dramatically reduced the use amongst young people. All tied to their marketing campaign and how they went about trying to change the narrative of that industry. Do you have a problem with those results?
Kingdom out for you.
Yes.
Mm.
You do?
So you have to give me an example of a movement that you feel hasn't been hijacked. Because if you have a bar, a litmus so rare, so like, what is an example of that so we can know what we should try to emulate?
You gave me a great assignment, brother. You've truly given me a great assignment, and I will take you up on that challenge. Because like I can't literally think of nothing that's not. Like you said, the civil rights movement was hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
The women's rights movement was hijacked.
It was, yeah.
Like
It's all been hijacked,
The
right?
hippie movement was hijacked. Hi, baby.
Yeah, so I can't. I can't even say hip hop as much as I love hip hop.
Hip hop was hijacked as
Hip
well.
hop was
Hip-hop's been
hijacked.
like a month.
And so,
Oh my God.
Old
so
white
hijacked.
man is running this rap shit.
Everything gets hijacked.
yes.
Jay told y'all years ago.
And I
Son, I
to
don't want
that
to-
comment, right?
you wanna
I'm
do-
sorry, Rob.
My son asked me if I wanted a cup of tea. I was like, no, son, be a good son.
Yeah, I'm busy.
He's a good son.
It's empty, son.
Why are you
So,
stealing stuff? You
we
better
say,
Oh yeah, Freddie. I knew this. Freddie ran the events for the Truth campaign. I remember that.
Thanks for that shout
the
out.
lack of organization is what killed BLM. I disagree.
No,
They
the
received
gro-
money.
they're not. They're not even dead. What do you mean?
No,
Right.
they're
Right.
They
gone.
still
They
getting
received
money.
money.
Money,
They
but
are.
had no plan to execute. I also disagree. They have half-ass focused on marches that actually got more black people hurt. That's not.
Well, there were
So-
some nefarious infiltrators.
Yeah, because here's the one thing we don't like to acknowledge about that whole time when we were doing marches. Truth is also funded by Philip Morris, the cigarette people.
right, it was a lawsuit that made them do that.
That
Like,
made
people
them
was
do that.
suing the cigarette manufacturers,
Which
and Phyllis Morgan was
Okay.
forced to give so much money back.
But what-
That's
But
basically
think about
the same-
narrative that this Facebook user is putting out. That Truth was also funded by Philip Morris and cigarette. That is very similar to George Soros funded such and such, or
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos funded such and such.
Right.
What is the outcome? Do you have a disagreement with the outcome? A lot of
Right.
times our legal system is used
And
to punish the people who caused the problem. Philip Morris had to then support the effort to undo it. That is not a bad thing.
And I'm gonna add on to Rob, right? We've talked a little bit about stuff being marketed, and we have issues with marketing. Could you consider, Kingdom, that this information about George Soros, is it George Soros started BLM, funded BLM, was actually a marketing strategy to get you guys uninterested in participating in that movement? Is that a possibility?
No.
It absolutely was. You're crazy if you don't
Yeah,
see
you're
that.
right.
You're absolutely nuts if you can't see that.
No. Real talk. When I went to their website and I read their website,
Okay.
it was the information about not working with me that turned me off.
Are you a leader of a black organization?
Yes, I was.
You were the NAACP?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I work at Operation Push. I've been a member of
But-
NAACP.
but Kingdom,
I was the
your-
black student leader.
Okay.
I mean, the vice president of the Black Student
Okay,
Union.
cool. But your wording was that their goal was to oust the head leadership of Push and NAACP.
of
Now,
patriotic organizations with patriotic leads.
okay.
So that was everything.
So you read that as if it's patriarch, that means man? Because I
You
don't
say
hear that.
patriotic, or you say
I don't hear that
patriarchal?
when I don't hear that when
Patriarchal.
Okay, that's a very different.
that's a
thing.
very different
than
thing
what you
than
said.
wanting men out. And that's
Right.
what I hear you saying, that they wanted men out instead of trying to dismantle patriarchy.
Yeah,
which is what
that's
I hear.
100% different.
It's a little different.
Because manhood,
No.
being a man, and
Even Rob is
patriarchy,
like,
No,
yeah,
it's a
it's a
different
little
word.
different.
Yeah, it's a different word.
they're not the same thing.
I'm speeding through shit.
Well, that doesn't mean, look, but you have to be precise. If you're
Hold on,
talking
hold on,
about
hold
this shit, you can't just be
Okay.
like, you know what I meant. No, I don't. I don't know what you mean. Oh, now you wrote your own comment, and now we get to read your own comment.
You
No,
read this shit.
This
I'm
is
not
from
reading-
their website.
Okay, black liberation movement in the country have created room, space, and leadership mostly from black heterosexual cisgender men. I don't disagree. Leaving women, queer, and transgender people and others either out of the movement or in the background to move the work forward with little to no recognition. I don't have a problem with this statement so far. As a network, we have always recognized the need to center the leadership of women, queer, and trans because, and let me just, before I read on,
Don't say because.
I'm adding on. I just said I'm adding on. Because if you look at history, women, queer, and trans have always been the drivers of most. They drove the civil rights movement. They drove much of the women's movement. They drove a lot of the movements, and
They
we don't
drive
like
your
to acknowledge that. But that's cool. We black people. It's all about the black
It's
men.
all
Go
about the
back and
black
I'll read that
man.
last sentence. So I'll read the last sentence. So what I'm getting, Kingdom, is patriarchy oppresses black men as well. This is absolutely true.
Yes, it
Absolutely
does.
true, which is
100%.
why black men should actively
Yeah, okay. Lee.
leave the patriarchy.
Lee needs to
He
stop
can't.
typing
He
now.
can't. But that's why, and this is not what this is about, but to Facebook user's point, we take offense to the term cisgender. It is not a term that I created and I will never answer to. It doesn't matter, Lee, you are cisgender whether you answer to it or not. It doesn't matter. Just like you're a black man, if you decide to say, I'm not a black man, that you are. It is what it is. It's a category like all the rest of it. But I understand. They hear SIS, not CIS.
No, it's just, you know what it is? It's like someone else defined anyway.
See, that's what turned me off.
Because you hear SIS, not CIS.
I guess.
Not the sociological term that has been used for decades. You hear sissy is what you hear. Silent movement driven by women. This is true.
Category, you spelling that wrong.
He spelled the worst.
No, I'm not.
It's
not a valid category. It is if you are an anthropological, sociological student. It is. That term has been around for multiple decades. It didn't just come around 5 years ago.
Okay, that's not the point.
People got start.
But I appreciate that, Lee. I get it. If you don't like a term, you don't like a term. A lot of women don't like being queen. A lot of women don't being called bitch. It's fine.
Female.
It's fine. Female. I don't get the female thing. That blows my mind every time I hear it. Every time I hear it. But to Kingdom's point, and I'm gonna let Rob and Gina jump in. What I read when I read that is that we have built systems for Black people that were built on patriarchy, which I don't think is an incorrect position. And those organizations need to start examining themselves and have more ways to support women, queer, and trans. I don't see an issue with that statement at all. Maybe because I am an ally, that's why I read that the way it does, the way I do.
Well, it was started by 30 women.
That is also a very important point.
That's what I said. I said that earlier.
What does eating pussy have anything to do with the movement?
I didn't say nothing about eating.
But my point is,
they were gay. Who cares?
So it's 3 women. So it's 3 women.
They were anti-men.
Because they eat pussy?
That's what their mission statement was based on.
You think the whole thing is some bullshit because
wait, let Rob chime in.
Okay, Rob.
Say that again. Go ahead, Rob. Say that again.
Put that mission statement back up. I want to call some things out in here because he says anti-man. All right. Are men harmful practices? Are men harmful?
Are men harmful?
Well, it depends. What do you mean?
Yeah, I need you to give more context.
In what situation?
I'm just asking. Is
that what they're saying?
They're saying they're against. Are you a part of that group, Kingdom?
No.
All right. So you're not even advocating for, like, it's okay for men who have harmful practices to be removed from their position.
Yes.
Okay. So looks like you guys are in alignment. Throw it back up there. It says, as a network, we have always recognized the need to center the leadership of women and queer and trans people. To center the leadership, it didn't say push nobody out.
Mm-hmm.
Not on this one.
Center them as well. We have left them out. We have let them out. We have left them out. It's time to censor them as well. It used the word and, not in place of. They used the word and repeatedly. Are you opposed to that?
No.
So you're not opposed to the inclusion part.
All right, throw it back up here.
No.
Do you feel like, for most of the time, Black liberation has been rooted at Black men? Because from what I remember, this country was about white land-owning men. They then gave Black men rights to vote, and then way after that, they gave women as a class rights to vote. That's the history of this country, right?
Yeah.
So if that being the case, throw it back up there. If that being the case, we acknowledge that the first sentence is true. They have left women, queer, and transgender people out of society. They are part of our society. Women make up more than 50% of the population. Women make more than 50% of the household decisions in your own home. That's just the reality. They make the healthcare decisions. They make the education decisions. They make the eating decisions. We have excluded women from positions of power, and it has always harmed us. It has always harmed us. That is what those people said. Which part of the statement do you disagree with?
I know which part, but I want to hear Kingdom say it.
Yeah.
Kingdom.
What part of that statement?
Yeah,
Yes.
that you have a problem with, yes.
Nothing.
Then why'd you put it
Then
up
what? No,
I
no,
was
no,
just
no, no.
being fair.
No. But
No,
you
you
said
were
this was
saying-
the mission statement that you had said
The
at the beginning.
cisgender word hit me,
Okay.
there? Okay.
and the assumption that all black heterosexual
No one's saying all.
It says mostly.
Anyway.
the leadership mostly for black heterosexual.
It says, let me read that sentence. It said the Black Liberation Movement and its company have created room, space, and leadership mostly for black heterosexual cisgender men.
Let
I'll
me
read
say
that
it
one more
again.
time so we're all hearing
Hold
the
on,
same
let me
thing.
say it
Black
again.
liberation movements in this country have created room, space, and leadership mostly for black heterosexual cisgender men.
And remember, Kingdom, we said white women got to vote. I mean, white men got to vote. Landowning white men got to vote. Then white men generically got to vote. Then black men got to vote. And then we let women vote after that. That is what that sentence is saying.
No.
And that's just the history of our country.
No.
Well, that's not what I'm getting, Rob. Is that's not what he reads. What I'm gonna assume what he's reading, right?
He heard the words cisgender and trans, and he was like, "Yo, I can't be involved in this shit." That's just the truth of the matter.
What's the truth of the matter? Say that again.
That he heard the words cisgender and man or trans, and he was opposed to it. This is how we do
Yes.
things in black community all the time. We
Yes.
are.
And see, I
And-
can't
and-
agree with that because, like I said, I was looking at 15 hashtags, and the hashtag of the month just happened to be Black Lives Matters that caught on, and that's the one they've been running with ever since. They don't talk about you don't never see Trans Lives Matters anywhere, and that was their first one.
Because that wasn't the movement.
That wasn't the movement.
That was the first one.
Okay, but not for this.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you that all these hashtags were on the page, and it wasn't until
BLM.
no,
Okay,
it wasn't
so-
until Trayvon got killed
Okay.
that they started going towards the Black Lives Matter and including young black boys.
Okay, but what
in
is
their
Because it was
mission.
the most
problem?
pressing problem, Kingdom.
Huh?
It was the most pressing of the problems.
No, it's the one that caught on.
They're not getting.
It's like if you fishing with 5 different types of bait and the corn is the one that the fish jumped on, you keep using corn. And that's what they did. They didn't stop fishing for other people. They just went for the one that caught on.
Or Kingdom, could you consider that for them, all Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
And the
that's
one
the
at the
thing.
time when they started, the more pressing one was the trans. And then I don't know why you're rolling your eyes. All I'm asking, we're listening to you, and we're asking, I think, very important questions. Can you
I'm just
consider
saying, I wish I could show you all the 15.
Kingdom? I'm not arguing whether you're right or wrong. What I'm asking you to consider is that when they started, Black trans lives, Black queer lives were the pressing matter.
That
Fast
was the building on
forward
fire.
to 2019, where Black men, and I'm going to use the word, I know y'all hate it, heterosexual cisgen men's life became more of a pressing matter. And they shifted their focus to that. But it was never not something that was important to them. Can we
And more
consider that?
importantly, though, Black Lives Matters is inclusive of women and queer and trans people. That's what they're saying.
They're all black.
They're all black. Like, black people are the center. We need y'all to also pull the people that you have ostracized out or into the center. We're not saying move out the center, black man. We saying let us in.
Let us in too.
That's what y'all saying, but that ain't what I read.
Okay.
You just agree with everything in the thing.
I gave you one paragraph out of a 12-page,
Okay,
a 12-page.
But that was obviously the most important.
No, that's the only
statement.
one they left up.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like I had before when I asked you for, I wanted to have time to have the receipts. because I saved them on my hard drive. I just couldn't pull up the hard drive.
Okay.
But the receipts that I'm trying to show you is simply just saying that these people had no concern about us. Their main focus was queers. That was their main focus.
Well, actually, according to that statement, it was women, queers, and trans.
No, it was black queers.
Kingdom, are you married?
What that got to do with it?
That's a good question.
Are you married?
No.
All right. Unfortunately, I can't say that. Let me help this. So, do you think you have siblings?
Yes.
Do you think your people are happy with the idea, or appreciative of the idea that you're not the dude you were 10 years ago?
I can't hear him.
Do you feel like they're appreciative of the idea that you're not the dude that you were 10 years ago? Like
if you can't hear him, don't look at me.
Are my family members, siblings, what?
Appreciative that you're not the dude that you were 10 years ago?
Do they feel? Does your family feel that you evolved in 10 years?
No, man.
You're the same person. You're the same.
Oh my
person?
God, you're one of those people that I've been the same for 50 years.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Oh
man.
well, this makes
I
this
am
so
that
much
I am.
clearer.
Yeah, we should have started with this.
I am that I am, and that's all that I am. That's all I know.
I think people.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
We've got to wrap this.
Yes. So
yeah.
Hold
on, we missed comments.
So that's okay.
Okay.
We love all of y'all. You can scroll through as we close.
Yeah, so as we close.
So first of all, shout out to Kingdom. I didn't agree with 80% of what he said, but I still appreciate somebody who stands 10 toes down on their position and is unwavering with it. So I respect that. He has his viewpoint and it's completely valid.
I don't think that's what I appreciate about Kingdom is he's not unwavering.
Yeah.
He said, I got homework to do.
Yeah. And I appreciate that he's willing to go and research it to make sure. Yeah.
I mean, even misinterpreted.
Anti-Patrick is an anti-man. Okay. Okay.
Okay, honey, calm down.
He's very upset.
Oh my God, he gets so like, hey, come pick me up.
All right. Well, thank you, Kingdom, for bringing this point up. This evolved far past where I thought it was going to go, but I think it's still an important conversation. Just BLM, its roots and how it has grown as an organization.
All right, let's stop right there. Stop.
Stop. Yes, this is the reason why I didn't
stop. This is what I need you to do, Lee Farmer. I need you to go watch the PBS special Eyes on the Prize in totality, like all of it, right? I need you to remember that all the figureheads of the civil rights movement were men, because our society has always been patriarchal and misogynistic. All right, so to think that the people of the forefront were that the numbers don't say it, bro.
Yeah.
The black women especially have always been leaders in movements for our culture. That's just the reality of it. You just have to educate yourself on it, because the fact that you're saying that black men were the leaders, the soldiers, you don't understand you don't understand the folks who weren't getting on buses in Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand the people who were packing sandwiches for the damn marches. You don't understand the women, all the black women who were out there making it happen. And we're not talking, but see, your education, I love the fact that he mentioned these two women. Your education about the movement is limited to what you have learned from white folks in public education. Why? Because you called out those two people.
Yeah.
Those are the only two people white public education ever teaches you about when it comes to black women. Maybe Fannie Lou Hamer.
I didn't know who
maybe that. You only called out Rosa and Harriet Tubman. Bro, you got a lot to learn about how Black women have influenced our culture and how they moved us along in this
We'll
effort.
work on this exercise.
And
I don't think that's what Lee was saying. I'm with you, Lee.
And here's what I'm gonna say that we as Black people really don't like to acknowledge. We ain't never tried to be in a group with queers or trans, and that's the bottom line of it all. We have been trying to figure out how to separate ourselves well before BLM for decades, because we just don't see them as viable parts of our community, and that's just the truth of the matter. And until we all, that is the truth.
What, Black Lives Matter?
No, that we do not see queer and trans Black people as a viable part of our community. I am in conversations all the time where we do not like to acknowledge that they are a part of the community, and the shit that they go through, we should consider issues in the Black community.
The
We are
most
constantly saying,
homophobic
like,
place.
that's
the
not,
most-
it ain't got nothing to do with being Black. You being gay ain't got
Shontelle.
nothing to do with being Black. And it absolutely does. If you're gay and you're Black, then it's a Black issue.
Shontelle, the most homophobic place in the world is a Black church.
Oh,
on
yes.
12 o'clock on
Big
Sunday.
facts. Super facts.
Amen.
Super facts.
They told us
At
Solomon
12
and
o'clock
Gomorrah.
on
What else you
Sunday.
supposed to think?
What?
The Bible teaches us Solomon and Gomorrah.
What's
What
that
else?
got to
I
What
mean,
does that have to do with being
I'm-
homophobic? That has nothing to do with it.
What?
The story of Sodom and Gomorrah has nothing to do with the Black church being homophobic.
What?
How is that part of the Black church?
We
Or maybe
teach homophobia
maybe I'm
in our
missing a dot.
community.
There was
We don't
sodomy
like-
going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's automatically gay, queer.
We are not talking.
Well,
we are not
not-
saying the same thing, sweetie.
No,
we're not
it's
saying
not
the same
the
thing.
same.
But okay, I'm gonna
All
wrap
right, we
this up.
rapping. We rapping.
I'm gonna wrap this up. Rob, thank you. You are always a brilliant person to bring up on this show. Please don't see sex. That may be true, except the minister of music.
Yeah, yeah.
Rob,
if you
I
want your
always
choir to sound good,
appreciate-
you better put your homophobia behind the curtain. If you want your choir to sound good.
What you say?
Rob, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. You are always brilliant when you come on the show and provide a lot of insight, not only as a cis hetero man, but just as a Black person in general, always standing up for all aspects of Black people. Thank you very much. Kingdom, I appreciate your perspective. It led to a very robust conversation.
It sure
and
did.
I think we all walked away with the same views we had before, but nonetheless, we enjoyed debating back and forth. And Gina, always a pleasure to have
Oh,
you
it is
on.
my pleasure to be here.
I think
Thank
this
you
is
for
the show
having
where we
me.
got to see how brilliant you are.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robert.
Hey,
And thank you
King,
so
real
much,
talk,
Gina.
man, I appreciate
And
the
thank you,
conversation.
everybody who came and commented. I appreciated all the comments, whether I agree with them or not. You guys always are insightful. Thank you, In the Zone. Audience members, I love seeing you guys in the comments. Everybody in there is just genius and brilliant. So we'll do this again next week. Yeah, that's all I got. And thank you for the extra 12 minutes. I know, we be getting a little heated and doing stuff. So until next week, bye, In the Zone.
Thank you, brother.